everybody. I'm Dr. Cindy Howard, and you are listening to the Positively Altered podcast. I am a chiropractic internist and nutritionist and the author of a new book called Positively Altered: Finding Happiness at the Bottom of a Chemo Bag. Today is an extra special podcast because I have like a sister in this, and you're going to find out what that's all about because there's some history here that we both have shared together that you're going to learn. But here's how we're going to rope you in. She is the star, yes, I said the star, of a show called Crack Addicts. And no, it's not about drug rehab. So you're going to have to stay tuned in order to figure out and learn what the show is all about. If you haven't seen it, you're going to want to watch it as soon as we're done. So grab a quick, comfy spot to sit, a drink if you need it. We're going to be right back. Take a listen to our sponsors. They're super important to me. And I'm going to introduce you to our next guest.
Hello, my name is Heather Lord, and I am the COO of Professional Health Products. Cutting corners is an all too common practice in the dietary supplement industry. When my father founded Professional Health Products, he sourced the cleanest, most biologically active ingredients from around the globe. Today, that commitment remains, which is why the finest healthcare practitioners, like Dr. Cindy, have trusted us for more than 40 years. We oversee the entire process in our manufacturing facility, from sourcing and formulation to manufacturing and labeling. Today, we offer over 300 unique products that can be tailored to the nutritional and homeopathic needs of each individual. Most recently, we launched a proprietary genetic test, allowing our practitioners to get even more dialed in to their patients' health. To learn more about Professional Health Products, please talk to your practitioner or visit our website at phpltd.com.
Today, your life is going to be altered. I'm Dr. Cindy.
Welcome to Infinity. We have worked hard to create an electronic claims website that is simple and user-friendly. This is the public side. You can log into your personal web portal here. This is your dashboard. You can personalize it to your liking here. Our main focus has been to allow you to submit and edit claims as easy as possible. You will find our claims editor and claims processing is simple to use and straightforward. Our quick action bar is where you can find your most important information. Most of these icons will take you directly to the claims the number represents. You can easily view if you have any messages in your inbox of any unread alerts by looking for these blue numbers. To view the rest of our training videos to get the most of your Infinity experience, click this icon. We hope you find this web portal simple and easy to use. Thanks for letting us serve you.
I'm Dr. Cindy. Who wouldn't want to join me for the Positively Altered podcast? Welcome back to the Positively Altered podcast. I am super excited today to introduce you to our next guest. She is a superstar in her own right, and we're going to hear how she got discovered because it's a way cool story that I've heard before, but we're going to learn about it again. I want to introduce you all to the star of the Crack Addicts, which you can see on the Learning Channel, Dr. Alessandra Colón. Welcome, Dr. Colón. How are you?
Hi, Doc. Thanks for having me.
Oh my God, it's such a pleasure. So I was practicing how to say your name sexy. I didn't pull it off.
You did.
I don't know. I just don't have the background for sexy accents, but we're going to see where this goes even without it. You know what? I love some of your story. I want to just jump right in. You shared with me how you got discovered, right? We hear these stories of people getting discovered all the time. And as crazy as this is, it was TikTok, right? That got you there?
It was TikTok. I think, it sounds silly. No one actually, well, at least I didn't. I never had this like, oh yeah, I'm going to be a superstar. I'm going to have a TV show. It was never even in the cards or the future for me. And all it took was one of the most ridiculous TikTok videos that set me into stardom. Well, I call myself an F-list celebrity, guys. Real cool. It set me into stardom about two weeks after it had premiered.
So just 2 weeks, it goes viral. How many people watched this TikTok video?
I went on TikTok like I always do, thinking nothing of it, and I decided to do a rerun or redo of Dr. Remix and on period cramps. And within 24 hours, it hit 17 million views. And I still didn't think anything of it. I was like, oh, really cool. I got 17 million views. Awesome, you know? And then
That's
2 weeks later, I got an email in the mail from, I believe it was Warner Brothers, and asking me to be the first ever chiropractor to have a televised series. And what do you think I did?
you
I
threw it
deleted
away,
it.
right? You thought it was you didn't even think it was real.
No, because it's just ridiculous. It wasn't, I was trying to, I'm like, oh, delete, spam, trash. And that was it. I didn't think anything of it. And then 2 weeks after that, they reached back out like, hello, we were really serious about that. We're from TLC and we're real people. And we'd love to engage with you. And I was like, oh, it's like, maybe I should reach back out. That's not really how it
Right, I
happened.
mean, they didn't ask you for any bank information in the email, right? So there was a chance it was legit.
Right. Here's $10,000. Kidding. No, no, that was not how it was. And I was a little bit skeptical, I'll be honest. So I made sure to call some friends of mine around Miami and ask if they could check out who the executive producers were and stuff and kind of, snoop around to make sure I wasn't getting involved in anything crazy, but I wasn't, lo and behold.
Okay, so I have to ask you sort of the ridiculous question because I went on TikTok now because, everybody's doing it. It's the cool thing to do. And my very first video was my kids punking me. I mean, like truly. And it was fun, right? I loved it. I'm like, I'm going to get like 10 people to like this. And I think I got 8. So what, how do you get 7? Like, where did those numbers come from? Do you think that all of a sudden people just fell in love with you? It's so cool.
I like to think that some of it was just, original in the sense that I like to think that maybe it was my energy that came through that camera, and maybe that's what landed me the deal. But there's also the part of it you can't deny. There's algorithms and TikToks and trends, but the truth to that too is even with TikToks and trends and algorithms, no matter how much you put it in front of somebody, it's a cutthroat game. It's like you're just going to put a video up there, and all of a sudden you're going to instantly become a superstar. So I guess maybe some was even just divine timing.
Right. No, for sure. There's absolutely right. It just works the way it was supposed to work. And even though that wasn't what you put in the universe, you got it anyway, which is I mean, I think it's
I'm here for it.
fabulous. So people think about, there's always these stories, right? You see the superstar and then you hear but it took me 40 years to get here, or this was the hard work. What surprised you the most about the process to go from, okay, TikTok superstar to now really this commitment to do this regular, right, show that's a lot of work. It's not all fun, right? All the time.
I think in order to answer that appropriately, you have to understand kind of where it all came from. I'm just this girl in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, doing TikToks like anybody else, not thinking of anything that I'm doing, not any idea of the fruition it would come to play. But when the show came, of course, my initial reaction is this excitement. I want to be on the show. And by the way, I didn't tell anybody this. I was 8. There was a whole year period we went back and forth talking about whether or not we were actually going to do this. I wasn't even quite sure that TLC themselves really knew what chiropractic was, but that's a story for another time. And I'm 8.5 months pregnant. We've gone a year over pilot series. If we're even going to play this, and they call me and they're like, "Are you ready?" I said, "Yeah." They said, "Are you ready to be the first ever chiropractor to have a show?" Guys, I'm about to burst with a baby. I'm literally like massively pregnant. And I'm like, "Well, I'm going to have a baby like in the next 2 weeks." And they're like, "Well, we need to get to filming this by like January." And I was like, "That's 6 weeks." But what am I going to say? I'm also up against I'm like, well, this is a lifetime opportunity. I got to run with it. I'm going to have a 6-week-old baby. I'm going to be a mother for the first time. I know nothing about filming, although I do have a theater arts background. So I think that was somewhat helpful. But when you're in the thick of filming, my God, was it the craziest time of my life, particularly nursing, having a baby. It was long hours, 5 a.m., 10 p.m., nonstop, cameras rolling. Most of it was, I would say 95% of it was authentic, but then when it happens, no one can prepare you for how it catapults your universe and how it changes everything in your world. And I mean, literally from your work, your patients, the phone lines, your family life. It was the craziest, just uproar in my life, which I'm grateful for, but there were also hardships in that too,
Mhm.
if I'm being
Right. It's
honest.
it's not all as glamorous as everybody thinks it is, right? And you just opened up a brand new practice, really, like amidst all of this work too, correct?
Well, that's what catapulted it. I was in a partnership with someone, and him and I didn't necessarily see eye to eye, and that's fine. I always leave with the utmost respect in my situations, but this was a time in my life to either say, I'm going to catapult and bring this with me, or I'm going to start over again. So I actually, the show premiered about 6 months after airing. I quit my career after 11 years at the height of my career. I gave up every salary I had. I went home to my husband. I said, I'm going to start my own practice again. And he was like, what? I was like, yeah, I need like all of our money, all of our savings. We need to start over. There are 17,000 patients in the waiting line to see me. I got to open doors. And he's like, well, when are we going to do this? I go, in 4 months. He said, okay. And I swear I did ground up, build out 4 months, opened up in December of last year. So I haven't even been open now for more than 10 months.
It's amazing. So does everybody come in and want to be a guest on the show? Is that how that works now? Are they like, can I be the patient that's on Crack Addicts?
It's kind of cute. I now see I see concierge patients who are, the elite of the elites in the area. And so they pay to have one-on-one time with me in a long amount of time with me. I have patients from all over the world, Brazil, Canada, London, Venezuela. I have people come and stay for months at a time for treatment plans. When I tell you, it has changed everything I know about chiropractic care in terms of how we treat, what's available. Someone comes in for a week, I can't put them on a care plan. Add to that, I started a med spa. I mean, I went all over the place. I scrolled all over the place. But then you have the patients who come in, they're like, oh my God, that's Dr. Colón. And I'm like, it's just me. Like, I don't feel that way at all. And when you know who I am, it's kind of hysterical because I'm still dancing through the hallways and just showing up with no makeup, however that go on. I just don't find it to be any sort of like level up. I'm just who I am, and I love that. So it's cute when they come in with admiration for me, but I'm mostly here to treat patients and do what I love.
It's great. That humble that you keep, right, along with this is what continues to make you an excellent practitioner and an excellent human through just a really fun journey, right, that a lot of us don't get to walk through. Who came up with the name Crack Addicts? Was that your idea or was that TLC?
Girl, we know that was not my idea, okay? You know that was not my idea. When they came up, we went back and forth on what we were going to call this show, and I was like, oh my God, we cannot name it Crack Addicts. When I tell you, it was 3 days before, and I was like, I'm going to get annihilated in the chiropractic community for this. Like, there is no way I'm going to go on and do a show about, putting needles in my arms and whatever. That's what I thought. I'm sorry. I thought it was about drug addicts, not cracking backs. And I'm like, I'm going to go, no, I'm going to hell, guys. I'm literally going to hell for this one. And I went back and forth, argued, and long story short, they said, Dr. Colón, we've done the pilot. We've done the reels. It's going to be sensational. You do what you do. Just be you. Let us do what we do. We know production, and our job is to get people to watch. And they're right. Because it's good news, bad news. It's controversial or not. People will watch, right? So in the sense, they didn't know what they were doing. So I just had to let go and right into it.
Yeah, it's amazing. I love patients will go in and go, can you crack me? And then I'm like, I take the deep breath and I'm like, in my head, right, let's re-educate what crack means. We don't crack anything because then you wind up in the hospital if I crack a bone, right? And we go through the whole education of the adjustment and the cavitation and what it all means. But I do think it's great press, right? They did do a great job to draw people in. And I think it's been amazing for our profession because it is that good press, bad press, but really it's been good press of we're educating people in this space who are unfamiliar with, the type of practices that we all have that can get people truly well. It's been fabulous.
You bring up such a good point. So I went to one of my speaking engagements. I literally just got off tour, speaking all over the place. And I get off, I'm not going to say who or where, but I get off the stage and everyone's coming to take cameras and pictures of me and this one guy comes up to me and he goes, I have to tell you, I thoroughly disagree with the name of the show and what you are doing. And I said, okay. I said, why? And he said exactly that. He's like, we are getting away from subluxation and calling it cracking and this ASMR. And he's like scolding me. And he goes, so we're getting away from the education of chiropractic. I said, you're right. That's why it's my job that when my patient comes into my office, I re-educate them on what we do as a profession. But in the meantime, I was like, what I have done is brought the word of chiropractic all over the world for the first time, and I'm not going to take that back.
Mhm. Yeah,
I'm not taking that.
it's a gift. It's a true gift that we've all been given through your TikTok experience. Really? And I can't even say that without laughing, right? Because it's
I've
amazing
learned
how
to
people
embrace it.
absolutely. I can always tell what the latest trends are, not only in the world, but in my practice, because when I get the same question over and over, even from my own kids, I'm like, you saw that on TikTok, didn't you? And you get this weird little smile because some people are almost afraid to admit that they've been trolling, right? And
Mhm.
that's where they learned it. But again, it's about bringing information forward and then educating properly when there's misinformation. And it's a great opportunity, not only for us as a profession, but I think for people as a whole to learn things and ask questions and get pointed in the right direction.
I think it was the first time, particularly for me, when people really asked me about it. I think it was a way for me to almost normalize the word, right? Because when people hear chiropractors, they're like, "Eh," or they're not real doctors. I mean, we've all been there. We've all said it. We all know how it is. But I think it normalized and opened up the conversation. And that's what I'm most proud of. And now people are like, wow, I didn't even know you guys do all that. They just expected, because you know it, you do functional medicine and internal and nutrition, and you know it better than anybody. People just assume that all we do is crack backs and necks. There's a whole nother division to healing from the inside out. And you know it even more as a cancer survivor. And I think that that's something that we haven't even begin to like hop into when it comes into play of chiropractic care and what we really do when healing the body from the inside out. It's a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing. I first met you in Michigan, and I think you were just sort of starting on the tour, if you will, right, of being invited to speak many places. And I'll tell you, it is fascinating because the thing that drew me to you the most actually had nothing to do with the show and your success. And I'm very proud of you, and I love what you're doing. But really, what drew me to you was actually your journey that started lots of years ago, right? Walking through Hodgkin's lymphoma. And that's what I walked through as well. And I'd love to just share a little bit with our listeners because I think cancer is such a big, bad, scary word to a lot of people. And I don't think it needs to be. I think there's some re-education in how we give those words power and how we walk through those. And I'd love to hear, what you walked through and what were your challenges and what got you through it? Because you're on the other side and it's, important, but it's on the, in the past, right? And still molding your future.
I think about it all the time. I think when I first was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, I did what everybody did, right? Why is me? The woe is me. Oh my gosh, I'm not ready to go. But when I really dig deep and get past the anger of what had happened in that moment to me and my family, I don't ever think there was a moment I ever thought I was actually going to die. I just remember thinking like, I'm going to smile. I will be resilient. I'm going to fight for my life. And I didn't even think anything different from that. In fact, the strange part about having cancer was the way that everybody looked at me. I suffered mostly from feeling helplessness. It was so sad to see my family look at me like I was just this weak little thing, and I really was, but I felt terrible for how they suffered. And it kept me going. It actually empowered me to keep moving and make sure that I got us live, because I didn't want this to be the end all of not just myself, but how it would essentially break my mom and my dad and my brother. That I can't even talk about that. It makes me want to cry a little bit. So I knew I had to make it out alive. I just smiled. I just
Mhm.
continued to smile and fight for my life. But what I did learn from cancer more than anything, and I wish that this is something, I hope this is not elongated, I wish that people understood this, was to expect uncertainty. And when you expect uncertainty, you know how to look at fear right in its face. And people are so busy being stable. They're so busy feeling certain. They want everything to work out just the way it needs to work out. You stop taking a leap of faith in your life. And as a result of that, you stop growing. And expecting uncertainty was like the most profound thing that I have ever been through, because it taught me just to jump into everything at all cost. And it's got me to the highest of mountains. It's the most beautiful thing in the world. I fear nothing very rarely. I just go for it. And I'm like, I'll land. I'm going to land. I'm going to
You
land.
know, it is interesting. And I feel the same way, as I run around and I speak to others as well, and I say adversity is coming, so open your arms to it because it's going to show up. And I think, different language, right? Versus the word uncertain, and welcome it in a way, to your point, that when you can overcome it, you learn a lot and you grow a lot. And there's no way to avoid, I mean, I don't know how to spend decades on this earth without facing something and multiple things that are crappy.
But isn't that always the case? Like, we always get in our own head about, I don't know if I can do it. Oh my God, this is it. I don't know if money's coming in, income's this, should I have another baby, whatever it might be. And all of a sudden we get through it and we forget about all of it. And we don't take time to look in the mirror and say, wow, I did that. I did that. Like, if I can do that, then that recipe must work. And let me just repeat that action. Why don't we do that more often? Why don't we lean into things? I think that that's something that people really forget, especially because everything feels like it's just now. It has to be now. We need to be so sure
Yeah.
of ourselves.
And I think too, science has proven over time that the brain does much better with negative thoughts than it does with positive thoughts. So it's very easy for us to kind of take that journey into the why me and how come, and, this is horrible. I used to say I made cancer fun, and people look at me like I'm nuts when I say I made it fun, but I did make it fun. I mean, I had some of my best laughs, and had some amazing people and experiences that I've shared that I never would have had if I didn't have that journey and that attitude to walk through it. And I'm so grateful for those, because now I can walk into the rest of my life going, to your point, I want more of that. I can do this, right? It doesn't have to be negative. And not that I want anybody to walk through cancer. I don't wish, those challenges, but I'm so grateful for mine. Like, I wouldn't go back and change it. Would you go back and change it?
No, I wouldn't. Like you said, I don't wish it upon anybody. But I wouldn't go back and change it for the world. And by the way, there was also so many things going on behind the closed door. And even now I'm, a decade or more past my cancer, and it's still so relative. It's still close to my heart and still so relative in my mind when I am facing challenges. And that's something that for that reason I'll never resent that I had cancer. I keep it here for a reason, because it keeps me humbled and it keeps me with humility. And that's necessary sometimes.
So you said something interesting that hit home for me earlier too, about the pain of family. When I diagnosed myself, actually, my mother was walking through multiple myeloma and amyloidosis. And in a weird way, my diagnosis actually became a little bit easier for her, because the focus was off of her and then became on me. But I've always said, and I don't know if this is fair, I'm curious if you feel the same way, that I thought it was easier for me to walk through as the one having the diagnosis versus watching my mother go through it, because I felt so helpless. With me, I got to make choices and decisions and right for the outcome. I felt like I had more control, where with my family member, I actually had zero control. Do you think that was true in your experience too with your family?
It was very true and very, very real. My mom particularly, it's her daughter, all she wants. And I can't imagine being a mother. I mean, I'm a mom, and if anything happened to my son, I can't imagine my kid having cancer. So I would never want to be in her shoes. But at one point, I actually do remember looking at my mom, and what's a mom's reaction to do? Control everything. If you control everything, everything's going to be okay, right? But it wasn't okay, and nothing was in her control. And I remember looking at my mom and said, Mom, if we're going to do this, I was like, I just want to live my life, because I'm either going to die or not. And if I'm going to die, I'm going to die smiling. And I remember that because the doctors kept on telling me I shouldn't be doing this and that and blah, blah, blah. And my immune system is here. And I wanted to go to a John Legend concert. And if I went and I had a mask on my wig, I was being compromised and end up in the ICU. And I said, Mom, I don't care. I was like, I want to go to the concert. I want to enjoy my life. I want to smile. I don't care what that looks like. And she just looked at me and she goes, okay. Okay, baby. And we went to John Legend, had a great time, wore my wig. And we just, unfortunately, I don't want to say unfortunately or fortunately, but we kept continuing to take those risks even throughout my immune compromised body. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud that we made the decision to smile together through it.
I love it. So now, as a boy mom,
Right?
Right? Listen, and girlfriend, I'm ahead of you. I got a almost 18-year-old and a 20-year-old boy. So you just call me in a few more years and I'll I'll hold your hand through it. But do you think that you parent differently now because your mother was so accepting of, again, letting you live your life, or are you hovering a little bit because you are worried?
Um, it's two parts to the story. One, because I was not supposed to have my son Aiden, and I love him. The very first time when I had cancer, which you don't know, but the pretext to this is that I also had radiation. The radiation was from my pelvis up to mid of my head, so I had
Okay.
quite a bit of radiation. I was told I was never going to have children. So my first round, I had a miscarriage. My second round, I had an ectopic, and so I just assumed that, and I lost my one fallopian tube. I just assumed that, well, I tried and they warned me, right? So part of it, I'm so blessed to have my son. The other part of it is that I'm my mother's daughter. I'm my mother's daughter. In fact, I would change nothing about the way she treated me, how she protected me. I just want to do a little bit better, right? Because she had so many more difficulties that I'll never experience or have with my son. And so, if anything, I'm very proud of how my mother raised me. I'm very proud of how she handled the situation under everything she was going under and all the pressure she was under. And I'm my mother's daughter. I just want to tweak it up a little bit.
Mhm. Right. We
We
I think I think we all do. Yeah, I think we all do. Yeah, it's cool to have learned those lessons and then still improve upon them, right? And value the gift that she gave you, and
Yes.
now moving forward. It's interesting. I'd love your opinion. There's something in medicine that actually really bothers me, especially in that cancer realm, and it's exactly what you were told, that you would never have children. I really have an issue with doctors that tell people with an absolute that they can or they cannot do something, because we've seen stories like this, right? Where you defy the odds or you do something opposite of what they do. How did that make you feel when they told you you can't do something? And then as it turns out, guess what? They were actually really wrong.
Well, I'm gonna say it, but fuck them. Sorry.
I love it.
I'm gonna say it. I mean, first they tell me I wasn't gonna run well because the cancer was in my lungs and I had to have pulmonary function tests. So you know what I did? I turned around and ran a 26.2-mile marathon with my mom. So, here you go. Take that. Is it in the back of my head and does it subconsciously affect me? Sure, because I go into it with the notion that there could be an issue or things would turn into turmoil, and so there's a level of anxiety associated with that message that and you're compartmentalizing for a series of years, but it's not going to stop me. It's not going to stop me. I'm going to keep trying just like I did. I had a miscarriage. I kept trying. I had an ectopic pregnancy, lost a tube. I kept trying. I was destined to be a mom in my heart of heart, and because I leaned into my faith, I knew I was gonna have a baby, and I wasn't gonna quit.
I
That's all it
love
is.
it.
So screw
And
them.
and everybody out there needs to take a little bit of that, right, in an advice standpoint. Just because somebody tells you you can't doesn't mean you can't, right?
It's
Might be an
it's
opinion.
truly up to you to change the course of your life and how you want to live it. It is nobody else's life. No matter what they do, no matter what's presented to you, you change the course of your life. It might not be the way that you thought it was going to be, but I promise you all the things you asked for, all the things you want, they all come to fruition. Maybe not at the time, but they come. They do come. Just ask for them, put them in the universe, and let go.
Oh my gosh, I'm so with you. Talk to me about the term aggressive happiness. What does that mean?
Ah, that is the moral of my story. Um, I grew up in a very, very, very difficult home. I never had good fortune. I never had ease. And then right when I thought I would have ease, I moved to the United States of America from Saudi Arabia. Within 10 months of arriving to the States, I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. It seemed like my whole life was this like, I don't know, like this, hey, keep going over and over word of just a shadow of doom on me. And I couldn't understand why this was a life God had given me. And then I got into a car accident after that. That car accident almost cost my life. I was on disability for 8 months. A lot of people don't know the depths of darkness, attempted suicide. I went through hell and back, and I had two options in every single one of those situations. It was either let it beat me down or smile, be so aggressively happy that nothing could take me down, that nothing can break my willpower. And that's what it came down to. It was buck up, put a smile on. And I'm not saying it didn't affect me, that you shouldn't minimize the pains you're going through, but to put your chest high, to recognize that everything comes from here, that no one's in control of that, no matter how dark it gets in your darkest hour. That is the greatest piece of strength that I've ever been given. And I've chosen to be aggressively happy through my entire life. And I still do. I still do. And I think about that. And when I can't reel myself back in and I start thinking about the negative crap in my life, I go back to, all right, how can we be aggressively positive today? What is the outcome? What are some affirmations? What are some things you can say to get you out of this cloud today? And I know some people would say that that's unrealistic, and they might be right. It's a practice. It's a choice to be happy. It's a choice to take yourself out of that and be happy. It's a choice.
I commend you for that journey. I get that a lot too, where people are like, how are you up all the time? How are you so positive? It's got to be phony. And I'm like, it's not phony. And I have moments, right, that suck and the poor me, right? But they're moments, they're not lifetimes, right? And you take that moment, and to your point, you dig deep and you find that spot or that one phrase or the one human or whatever it is that you need to surround yourself with, right? To get you back to that aggressive happiness, so that you can diminish the negative into making it a positive. And I'm with you. And I think it's great that you show the vulnerability that it isn't always happy 100% of the time. That can't be, right?
It's impossible. But because I don't want to act like it's, because that would be unhuman, right? We all feel things, right? But I do have the things that I know ground me, and it's a practice. And like you said, when I get in those moments, I know how to shift my mind, a practice of that mindset. Say, okay, I need to go talk to my best friend today. I need to write today. You know what? Just go to Yoga Girl, breathe, drink some more water. Like I know myself well to say, okay, or you know what? Take the damn day off. That's okay too. Sulk, cry like a little bitch, and get over it. We got this. Whatever do you That's fine
Call
too.
in sick, right? Call in sick
Having
and
the
take a
day
mental health
today.
day. Absolutely. Now, you also talk about having a zero tolerance for negativity. So, what do you do with people that are around you that are, walking down that self pity path? Do you expel those people, or do you educate them? Like, how do you deal with negativity that is around us in this world?
Is this in the workplace or in my life?
You can pick, you know what? Pick whatever you want to talk about.
In My mom had a saying, tell you who you hang out with, and I'll tell you who you are. And in my office, I have developed a culture. And people come to me because of that culture. It's a total vibe in my office, right? And if you don't like it, I'm not going to lie, there's a front door. That's okay. I don't need to be the doctor for you. It's a vibe, it's a culture. I want everybody in my practice to come here knowing what to expect, that we're energetic, we're happy, we're loving everybody. It's part of the healing process, aside from just the chiropractic care. It's like a place you want to be, right? In my life, no room for bullshit. Zero room for bullshit. I don't surround myself with fake friends. I don't surround myself with fake people. I don't care. Friends, family, nobody. I have no room for bullshit. I'm in a point in my life where the bandwidth is this big. And anything that exceeds that bandwidth, and I don't have to be rude about it, you're just not for me. That's okay. You're
Right.
just not for me. And I've learned to determine who is and who isn't. You walk into a room and you read it, like, oh, that's just not my energy. I say no to that, right? And if it's a person that's negative, I just slowly kind of just like crawl away like a little cheetah. And like by the time they realize it, I'm just like gone. And
Nobody has to
sometimes,
know how it happened, right? It just
yeah, and
happens.
sometimes it's family. I've had to distance myself from family, and that's a really, really tough one because they have expectations of you and how you're going to react to it. But the truth is, if you give it power, it gets power. If you don't give it power, it doesn't get any power. And they learn to tiptoe, your friends, everybody learns to tiptoe around you. So promote what you want, demand what you want. You want respect, give respect. You want kindness, give kindness. You want love, give love. It's a pretty simple recipe.
It is. It is. We just need to practice it more. One other thing that I think is really important is giving back, right? Like, no matter what our level of success is in life, I think it's so important to take some time and realize that we also have gifts that we can share with other people. And one of the things I know you've done is you've traveled other places to help treat patients maybe that wouldn't have access, right, in this country. Share a little bit about that experience and what brought you joy in doing that.
You're gonna laugh. It started because I was never actually gonna be a chiropractor. I was gonna be a medical doctor. And I had to write my college essay. And my mom made me watch this movie, Patch Adams. I don't know if you've ever seen this movie. And it's about a doctor who was extremely brilliant, never had to study for his boards, so the doctors all thought he was cheating. But the funny part about him is all he did was spend time in these cancer wards healing people and with laughter and energy. And they weren't even his patients to treat, and strangers on the street. And he would give back on these freedom clinics and these freedom rides, treating people from all over. It's a phenomenal movie. I haven't seen it, but it inspired me. It inspired me because I thought to myself, if I have gone through everything that I have been through, then there has to be a reason that I'm still here. There has to be a reason why God still kept me in this world, because it doesn't make sense to me. This part of my life is so much bigger than just surviving cancer and car accidents and everything I had been through. It was like, oh my gosh, maybe he's keeping you around because your purpose is bigger. And my purpose was to do what? To give back to the universe, to heal people, to be here, to put a smile on their face, however that looked. And that's when I was like, I'll start doing mission trips. And I still do. It's why I love chiropractic so much.
I love it. You know what, Dr. Colón, I think you're doing exactly what you are supposed to be doing at this exact moment. I'm glad you didn't actually wear the red nose that Patch Adams wore, because you're a beautiful human being and you certainly don't need the funny nose in order to excel. I love the vibrant energy that you put off and the messaging that you give. And I'm just so absolutely thrilled about your success all the way around. Will you hang out a little bit longer? We have to take a quick break to listen to our sponsors. And then I'm going to come back and ask you some rapid fire questions that no, we did not practice ahead of time. They're easy. They're easy.
I love it.
They're super easy. I just want to see what your answers are. And then we'll let you share with everybody how they find you and watch you and check out the Crack Addicts. So everybody sit tight. We're going to be back in just a couple minutes. This is your weekly dose of Dr. Cindy, the Positively Altered podcast. Stop. Hit that follow button now and spread the love with Positively Altered. Welcome back, everybody. We are with my guest, Dr. Alessandra Colón from the Crack Addicts. Yes, you heard that correct. It is not a drug show, but it is a show about chiropractic and how she is absolutely changing the world. So if you haven't seen it, you got to check it out on the Learning Channel. But I want to learn a little bit more about her in a way that we didn't previously discuss. So you ready? We're going to do some rapid fire questions that I love to ask and see what your answers are.
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Super simple. If you could make snow any color except the color white, what color would you make it?
Black.
Why?
I don't know. It's came in my mouth.
Oh, okay. Hey, it's as good a reason as any, I suppose, you know? My guest previously said yellow, and I thought, but nobody wants to see yellow snow, so I'm in with the black. Actually, I like the black. I'm going to take that. All right, good answer.
Like instead of color.
Love it. Love it. No, it's perfect. And again, just that's what you thought. That's what it is. Snow is now going to be black. All right. Number 2. People always ask the famous person that you want to have lunch with, whether they're dead or alive. I actually could care less who you had lunch with. I want to know what the meal is that you're going to eat at that lunch.
Oh, tacos.
Really? Now,
Yeah.
Okay. So, but not the American way, ground beef, lettuce, cheese, right? The real way, like onions, cilantro.
It needs to be like some street taco.
Yeah.
Sauce, that's my thing.
I'm with you. So do you have a favorite taco place?
I do.
Can you share?
It's right across the street. It's so freaking good.
What's the name of it?
Tacos Al Carbon.
Tacos Al Carbon. Okay. All right. So big shout out to them. So, all right, good. So visit and check that out. Maybe you'll see Dr. Colón having lunch. Do you sneak over there for lunch during the day?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. That's my go-to. especially when I don't feel like cooking.
Perfect. What do you like to cook?
Well, by nature, my husband loves me because I'm Puerto Rican, so I have to make rice and beans. Like that's why he married me. Um,
At least you know the why.
I do know why. He made it very clear, literally on our third date. He's like, "If this is good, I'm going to marry you," and he did. Um, but I like to cook everything. This weekend we did a braised short rib lasagna. They were sensational. I just like cooking. It's where I just feel like I get time to slow down and enjoy my family, and it's a tradition. I don't have a lot of family around here, so everybody comes over on Sundays, and I'm usually prepping for like 8 to 12 people on any given Sunday.
Nice. Nice. I love it. All right. If you could be an Olympic athlete and win a gold medal in any sport, what sport would you pick?
Tennis.
Why?
Serena Williams is a badass, and I really love tennis.
Okay. Man, she's got these down. All right. I love it. If you had to pick a drink that was sweet, sour, or strong, what would you pick?
Ah, citrus. Is that sour?
Citrus. I think that's probably going to have to fall into
Sour?
sour.
Like I would
Yeah.
like a Paloma with like grapefruit or like lime, like a margarita. I can't do sweet. I'll like have a headache for like a week. I'm too old.
Okay. Sour it is. But see, that goes with your theme. So margarita and street tacos. I see where we're going. So, like, if I was going to ask you what type of music you would listen to given any choice, is it like mariachi or is there a different choice?
John Legend R&B. And then
Still goes
maybe a
with
Motown. Like I love old like Motown, like Aretha Franklin. Like that's my thing.
I think John and
I might
Aretha would approve the
Italian.
street tacos. I do. I think they would. John and Aretha, if you're listening, is Aretha? Oh my God, isn't that terrible? Is Aretha even still alive? Okay, she died. So if the spirit of Aretha can give me a sign later today that tacos are acceptable, I would really appreciate that. All right. Might not be able to differentiate between my mother and Aretha communicating with me, but if there's a taco in my future later today, I'll know that it was approved.
Hilarious. This is so fun. We could go for hours on this, by the way.
Well, I can keep asking more questions. All right, one more. If you could be a professional actor, dancer, or singer, what would you be and what would you star in?
Professional singer, Broadway.
Which show?
Any one of them.
Oh, come on. You got to have a
I could
favorite.
like put on the costumes and like I would love that. I mean, dance. I think because Broadway's all of them to me.
All right. Well, I will be your backup dancer because I can't sing. Like, I would clear out that theater in about 8 seconds. I'm so bad. But being that my background is dancing, I could be your backup dancer. And I would, I'll tell you what, I would be your backup to anything because I love your energy. I love your story. I love where you're taking your life. I can't wait to see what you're doing next. Is there something next we need to know about? Or are you just enjoying the moment for right now?
There are a couple things coming up, but I can't mention them. I'm in the midst of building some things. In the meantime, I'm really focused on my priorities here at home, which is building my empire, Miss Chiropractic Wellness and Spa. And it has been a game changer for me.
I love it. So I'll tell you what, let's make a deal. I won't press you for those things because I get that. But I would love to then have you back when you have more things going on so we can chat some more. So would love to have you back as a guest. In the meantime, how do people find you?
You can follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Miss Chiropractic. I just opened up my med spa. So you can also find me at MC Wellness and Spa. Stay tuned. There's some big things coming.
I love it. All right. Last question. What was your favorite thing about doing the podcast today?
That's too difficult. No, it's not. It's definitely the fire part, the little shout and fire thing. Like I'm built for that. I love that. That was fun.
All right. So I'll tell you what, next time you come back, we won't talk about anything else. I'm just going to rapid fire you questions. We'll do like 45 minutes of that and we'll just entertain people. How's that sound?
Because I like the entertaining. I like talking about myself.
I love it. My favorite thing about doing the podcast today was just your raw honesty and your energy and just the fact that watching you lead through all of the success still with a humble attitude is just really, truly inspiring. And I thank you for sharing your gift today on the Positively Altered podcast. For those of you listening, if you want to learn more, please follow me at drsindyspeaks.com. You can find the book Positively Altered, Finding Happiness at the Bottom of a Chemo Bag, anywhere books are sold. And please make sure you like and follow and tune in for all of our podcast episodes. I hope today left you positively altered.